Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So we finished our discussion on chapter 3 last time. We'll continue with chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita today. Chapter 4 is entitled Transcendental Knowledge, and we'll try to do 5 verses. The first theme is first 5 verses. So transcendental knowledge, the spiritual knowledge of the soul, of God and their relationship, is both purifying and liberating. Such knowledge is a fruit of selfless devotional action. Lord explains the remote history of Gita, the purpose and significance of his periodic descents to the material
Prabhuji,
world,
closer mic.
and the necessity of approaching a guru or a realized teacher.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So text 1. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktvanaham Avyayam Vivasvan Manve Praha Manurikshvakve Abravit. Krishna says, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So when Krishna says this system of yoga, because it is in continuation of chapter 3, and chapter 3 ends with when Krishna says Evam Buddhe Param Buddha, means thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to material senses, mind and intelligence. O mighty armed Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence or Buddhi Yoga, and thus by spiritual strength conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. So it's in continuation. Then he says, this yoga system or this knowledge of yoga, I first gave this knowledge to sun god Vivasvan. He instructed it to Manu. Which Manu now? The current Manu, who is Vavasvat Manu. So this Vavasvat Manu is actually the son of sun god Vivasvan. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Ikshvaku is in the Raghupati dynasty, the predecessor of Lord Ram. So this purport is little technical because lots of figures are there for us to understand when was Bhagavad Gita actually spoken first time in this millennium, and why was it spoken to sun god, and then why it was spoken to Arjuna. So Prabhupada says, herein we find the history of the Bhagavad Gita traced from a remote time when it was delivered to the royal order of all planets, beginning from the sun planet. The kings of all planets are especially meant for the protection of the inhabitants, and therefore the royal order should understand the science of Bhagavad Gita in order to rule the and protect them from material bondage to lust. So the idea was the kings should be given instructions of Bhagavad Gita, and they should understand the science of Bhagavad Gita so they can rule properly over their citizens and take them from the conditioned life to liberation. That was the idea of the kings. Actually, king or any leader, if he cannot take his dependents to liberation, or at least guide them on the path of liberation, then they are not fit to be leaders. So that is the whole idea of being a king or a leader. So the previous times, the executive heads, they all knew that, and that's why they respected these teachings, and they used to respect the Brahmins and the sages. But these days, it's whole topsy-turvy situation. So Prabhupada says, in this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan. So it also proves that is a position of being sun god. The person who's ruling right now is Vivaswan. And Krishna chose him to be given the knowledge to. Why? The sun is the king of the planets, and the sun god, at the present of the name Vivaswan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling all of the planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna. And Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. At one place, Srila Prabhupada also told his disciples that in democracy, if somebody comes and asks you for votes, you should ask him, have you read Bhagavad Gita? And if he says no, Prabhupada said, don't give him your vote. Of course, we cannot make it public, but this was Prabhupada's order. So in Mahabharata, Prabhupada is quoting Shanti Parva, we can trace out the history of Gita as follows. In the beginning of the millennium, known as Treta Yuga, this science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of the Raghu dynasty, in which Lord Ramchandra appeared. So then Prabhupada does the calculation. So if you read this purport, then you can appreciate these calculations. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, which lasts 432,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapar Yuga, about 800,000 years, actually 864,000 years to be exact. And before that, there was Treta Yuga, about 1,200,000 years. Thus, so Prabhupada is calculating if towards the beginning of Treta Yuga, sun god gave this knowledge to Manu, then it was like 2,05,000 years ago. No, not 2 lakh, 20,05,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaj Ikshvaku. Okay, Manu spoke to Ikshvaku in beginning of Treta Yuga. But even in the beginning of Satyuga, of that millennium, Krishna must have spoken into sun god, because it was beginning of the creation, or beginning of when this Manu, Vivasvat Manu, took over. And then sun god must have spoken to Vivasvat Manu. So the age of the current Manu is calculated to last some 305 lakh or 0.3 lakh, some big calculation, of which 1,204,000 years have passed. Accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan, a rough estimate is that Gita was spoken at least 12 crore, 120 million years ago. And in human society, it has been in extant for about 2 million years. Huge number, huge number. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjun about 5,000 years ago. So in the human society, the Gita is existing for last 2 million years. Just imagine. And Darwin says only 10 beings as we see them. Before that, human beings as such didn't exist. Before that, it was all Neanderthals or the Stone Age or the apes or this or that. But Bhagavad Gita is in human society for the last 2 million years. That is a rough estimate of the history of Gita, according to Gita itself, and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Shri Krishna. So it was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also a Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas, or descendants of the sun god, or the Surya Vansha Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is aparishaya, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. So this Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is, just like Krishna is speaking. And when he says he spoke to Sun God Vivaswan in the beginning of creation, it must be true. We have to take it as it is. And also, uh, Bhagavad Gita, like Krishna says, I spoke to Sun God, then Sun God gave to Manu, Manu gave to Ikshvaku. The Gita, Bhagavad Gita, like next verse, Krishna will also explain, Bhagavad Gita has to be understood in the disciplic succession. We cannot just speculatively try to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Then it will not make sense. Speculation can work in other sciences, like material sciences that we study. Their speculation can work, but not in the terms of scriptures or spiritual science. Text 2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakalene mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So somehow that succession was broken. So one guru told his disciple, and the disciple then he told further on, further on, further on. But the same message was given, but somehow the message was lost. It could be different reasons. The influence of time is there, or our intelligence is not there as much as before, or somehow the message gets diluted and changed. So that's why Krishna again came back and he gave the message again, so that message can go on further properly. It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. Certainly, Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac persons who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and who would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. So that's what Prabhupada is saying, or Krishna is also saying, that this knowledge was given in the parampara, and the parampara system somehow it was broken, so this knowledge is lost. So that's why also we have to try to understand the message of Bhagavad Gita in parampara system. Then we will get it properly. Otherwise, we can make a mistake. People try to read so many versions. There are about 800 versions of Bhagavad Gita, the commentaries. But if we read those commentaries, we will not understand anything out of it. It will look very, very hi-fi philosophy, or the words they use, just like mostly Mayavadis who have written commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Mayavadis mean those don't believe in God or don't believe in the form of the Lord. They give their own interpretation, that when Krishna says in 9th chapter, Manmana bhavmad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, means you think of me, worship me, offer homage unto me, and you will come to me or become my devotee. Then they say, no, it's not Krishna we have to think of, or we have to respect. It's unborn, eternal within Krishna that we have to respect, or we have to surrender to. But that's not what Krishna is saying. So they speculate, they come up with their own superficial meanings, and then they try to misguide their followers. So it's not the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. So we have to understand it in a proper Vaishnava Parampara system. Then we will be able to uh, chalk out the meaning, what Krishna wants to say. So as soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, then there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. So before that also it has happened. So Krishna came and he established the proper meaning of Bhagavad Gita through proper disciplic succession. And then even later on, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, and the six Goswamis carried out his orders for a while, but afterwards, when six Goswamis and the further some acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, they also left, then the parampara or the knowledge, proper knowledge was lost. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he came, he tried to re-establish the proper knowledge, proper philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then even he was overwhelmed by the kind of ignorance that was spreading all over Bengal area, Bengal and Odisha. So he prayed to Krishna to send a proper person who could take up this message further. And he in fact asked for a ray of Vishnu, please send your own person. So that's when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born as son of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he took up the message further and he established it properly. And then afterwards he established, and of course Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaji has lots of disciples. Gaudiya Math he established, and out of all those, Srila Prabhupada was more prominent and he took it up further. So Krishna will make arrangement when the message is lost. He will make the arrangement because this is what he does to establish the religion. He comes again and again, or he sends his representative. But this is the reason he does. So he will make the arrangement. But this is where our duties, our responsibility is, if we are followers of Srila Prabhupada, coming in that succession, that we should, first of all, it's our duty to take this message properly, to understand it properly, understand it philosophically, and then take it and try to give it the message to others. The ways and means of teaching could be different, but the message should remain the same. So that should be our goal of life, as being grateful to Srila Prabhupada for giving out so many wonderful books, for teaching us properly this whole science of Bhakti Yoga. We should take up at least this responsibility to understand Prabhupada's books properly, understand the philosophy properly, and to further preach. This should be the mission or goal of everybody's life who is following Srila Prabhupada, because this is what Srila Prabhupada came to do. He came to give us the books, and for us, this is our duty to distribute not just the books, but distribute the message, distribute the teachings. Then Prabhupada is writing, there are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Shri Krishna. This spirit is demoniac, because demons do not believe in God, but simply try to enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English as it is received by the Parampara system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. So Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity, but if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it's simply a wastage of time. But since we are trying to be followers of Srila Prabhupada, we sometimes try to follow him as he wants. So when he says his Bhagavad Gita as it is, so we also keep Bhagavad Gita as it is in our shelves and just leave it there. Don't touch it, don't move it, just leave it as it is. So that's not a disciple. Disciple is, he has to move the Gita from the shelf, read it, and then try to assimilate the knowledge. So then Krishna is saying, Sa eva yammaya teyadya yoga prokta puratana bhaktvasi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with me with the Supreme is told today by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. It's a very important shloka. So that very sa eva ayamaya tyadya means that very science. It's not like he's changing the science or changing the yoga procedure or the science of the relation. He's not changing anything. It's the same old relationship. These days, we see so many different yogas coming out. Sahaj yoga, and this yoga, that yoga, or these in America, like yoga means exercise. For them, it's an exercise. They don't follow Patanjali Yoga Sutras properly, but it's an exercise, kickboxing yoga, or this yoga, or that yoga. But that's not yoga. Those are just the exercises, just to lose weight and stay fit and do all sorts of nonsense afterwards. Yoga means one who is connected to the Supreme. He cannot do anything nonsense. And this is what Krishna is saying. And he is saying that ancient science is told by me to you. Why? Because you are my devotee as well as my friend. So, two qualifications are necessary for one to understand Bhagavad Gita. And actually, third qualification is given in chapter 9. But at least let's start with these two qualifications. Arjun was his devotee and he was his friend. Similarly, Surya, sun god, was a devotee of Krishna. And I don't know what kind of relationship, what kind of mood he was in with Krishna, because there are 5 different rasas. Arjun is in Sakhya ras. So Krishna is saying, because you are my devotee and my friend, I am giving and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So without being a devotee, without being in relationship with Krishna, one cannot understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So forget about, if he cannot understand, forget about him going and telling others about this knowledge. So all the people who are trying to write their commentaries on Bhagavad Gita for management, Bhagavad Gita for whatever, college going students, Bhagavad Gita for students, it's all nonsense because they don't understand the real purport, real meaning of Bhagavad Gita. And without being a devotee and a friend of Krishna, one cannot understand, cannot. And it's a transcendental mystery. It's a rahasyam. That's what Krishna says in Rahasyam hi etad uttamam. It's a secret, super secret. So this secret, actually, we are asked because month of December, when we used to go for book distribution, we were distributing this most secret knowledge out on the streets to everybody. And sometimes people would come and they say, I don't have 100 rupees to pay for Gita. Can you give us a discount? Okay, take whatever. Give whatever money you have, no problem. And this most secret knowledge we are giving away on the streets. The reason is, even if somebody takes Bhagavad Gita home and somebody tries to read it, he won't understand anything. He won't be able to understand anything unless and until he learns it from a devotee who comes in disciplic succession, who comes in a parampara. So that's the secret, that without that one cannot understand. Even though he's reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, but still, if somebody doesn't teach him, he won't be able to understand anything. The Lord selected Arjun as a recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it's not possible to understand this great, mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Look at the words Prabhupada is calling straight away them demons. Many times it hurts the sentiments of people. Oh, you're calling me a demon? Actually, what's a demon? Demon is not Rakshas. Rakshas is the one having like two horns coming out and his big teeth and that kind of person. Demon is Asura. Asura means anybody who works for his own sense gratification, who doesn't work for the pleasure of Krishna, is an Asura. So, if going by that definition, if you look at our lives, so in 24 hours, how many times we are a devotee and how many times we are a demon? So we can analyze our lives. Actually, it is said that in Satyuga, the demons and the devotees, they used to live on different planets. The planets are different. In Treta Yuga, same planet but different countries. In Dwapar Yuga, same planet, same country, same city, but different houses, just like Kauravas and Pandavas. But in Kali Yuga, same planet, same country, same city, same house, same person. Same person can have both the tendencies. Now it's up to us which tendency we're gonna feed more, and which tendency we're gonna make it stronger. It's all up to us. So we all are actually, to more or less extent, demoniac. Because in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when we see the description of demoniac and divine, we'll see how many qualities of those demons we have. Pretty much all of them. And not just be there in some insignificant amount. It's a good proportion. Those qualities are there in really good proportion. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Shri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instructions. So Prabhupada is trying to guard us. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So that one has to be very careful about. Now Arjuna is going to ask a question because he got a doubt. Krishna says, he spoke this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan when about 120 million years ago, something like that. But Arjun got a doubt that Krishna, you and I, we are contemporaries. You are, the time when Bhagavad Gita was spoken, Krishna was about 100 years old. And you are saying you told this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan. How is it possible? Well, Arjun is not asking for himself. Arjun is asking for people like us who have doubts about Krishna. Arjun uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvata katham etad vijaniyam tvamadu proktavaniti. Arjun said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? So this is also Arjuna's question to try to establish the position of Krishna. So far Krishna hasn't spoken anything about himself. Now Krishna will start about himself because the chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. So this is the knowledge about Krishna. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for them only Arjuna inquires on this point. So this is the reason Arjuna is asking these questions. Otherwise Arjuna had no doubts. as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjun knew perfectly well that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. So the whole conversation lasted about 45, 48 minutes. So 10th chapter, we can say about half an hour. So this could be, fourth chapter could be in the beginning, say 5, 6 minutes, or 7, 8 minutes at the most. So 7, 8 minutes in the conversation, Arjun is having doubt, or Arjun is asking these questions. And 10, 15, 20 minutes later, he says, oh, I know who you are. So it wasn't Arjun that he was asking for himself. Of course, Krishna also appeared as a son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same supreme personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjun put this question before Krishna so that he could himself speak authoritatively. And look at the words that Prabhupada uses. Prabhupada always calls, whenever Krishna is there, he calls him the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his commentaries, he writes Krishna as Supreme Godhead. But Prabhupada added this word, personality of Godhead, because he wanted to make sure that people understand Krishna is a person. He's not impersonal. He's not some Brahmjyoti. He's not some light or energy or something. He's a person. What kind of person? Supreme personality of Godhead. Not just God. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. Huge difference these words make. He's a person. He's God. What kind of God? Supreme God. Ishvara Parama Krishna. That's what Brahmaji says. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjun put this question before Krishna so that he could himself speak authoritatively. The Krishna is a supreme authority, is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial. And the demons alone reject him. Even just like at the time of when Yudhishthira Maharaj did that yagya, and Agra Puja had to happen, the first puja, and Shishupal was there in that assembly. And that time, Sahadev, Nakul got up and he recommended, with although in the assembly, Vedvyaji was there, Bhishmitama was there, other sages were there, but he got up. Nakul said, it is Krishna who should get the first worship because he is the Supreme Lord himself. So there was everybody agreed because they all knew who Krishna is except one person, Shishupal. And so envious he was, because this we will study in Srimad Bhagavatam, this incident. So envious he was, although he was a cousin of Krishna. So it doesn't matter if we are Krishna's relative, we could be against him. His own mama tried to kill him, Kansa tried to kill him. So, and although Shishupal was a cousin of Krishna, still he was so envious that at that time he didn't say anything. When it was decided that Krishna will get the first worship, he waited for the whole yagya to be over, Rajsuya yagya to be over. Why? Because if he had stopped this in the middle or in the beginning, then some other arrangement could have been made. Who gets the first worship after the yagya? But since he wanted to do it after the yagya was over, so the whole yagya is spoiled. So Yudhishthira Maharaj has to do it again, all over again. He was so envious. That is the envy in the heart, how much it can burn. But actually, then everybody had agreed upon that Krishna is the only person who is entitled to get the first worship. And when Shishupal was speaking like that, and he started insulting Krishna. So, but then in that rage, he forgot that he has crossed the limit of 100 offenses. So far he was very careful. He would do up to 99 offenses, then stop. And that was Krishna's promise to Shishupal's mother, that if he does 100 offenses right away, I mean in one go, then I'll kill him. The Shishupal knew this, so he would stop at 99 all the time. But that day he was really, really upset and really envious. So he just crossed the limit. And then Krishna just killed him. And then the Rajya Yajna was carried on properly. So people knew who Krishna is. Vedvyasji knew who Krishna is. Bhishmadev knew who Krishna is. When we studied this chapter where Bhishmadev is leaving his body in Srimad Bhagavatam, how he respected Krishna, how much he respected, how much with his folded hands he's praying to Krishna, please, you stand before me when I leave my body. So this is the real knowledge. But the demons, they will not understand it, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for the whole world. The demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they're spoken by Krishna himself. So this Bhagavad Gita is actually a very special scripture because Krishna himself spoke this thing. Others are smritis that different sages have written, or Vyasadeva has compiled. But this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself spoke. So it carries more weightage. Yeah. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna as an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, but that he is Sachidan Vigra, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, that is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. And when we meet people, they might say, oh, Krishna, because we worship Krishna, they'll say, oh, Krishna is God, Krishna. But then they try to put their philosophy in there, put their points in there. Krishna, he did that. Krishna, he did that. We cannot even understand the position of Krishna. Forget about understanding Krishna's pastimes. That definitely we cannot understand. But Krishna is so special. And until one is a devotee, he cannot, to any extent, he cannot understand Krishna. This is what Krishna himself speaks in Bhagavad Gita. He has given this knowledge to Arjun because Arjun, he clearly says, Arjun, you are my devotee and you are my friend. And in 9th chapter, Krishna says, because you are non-envious of me. That's why you can understand this knowledge. So for us to grasp this knowledge, to understand this knowledge philosophically, we have to try to become devotee of Krishna. Then we would be able to whatever extent we are devoted or surrendered, we would be able to understand this science. And it's a great mystery actually. And this Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, after writing his commentary, then he wrote so many other books, Bhagavatam, to whatever extent he finished. And once he was asking his disciples that after Bhagavatam, which book should I write? Which book should I write the commentary upon? And devotees were suggesting different books. Then Prabhupada said, no, we'll write Bhagavad Gita again. But devotees were surprised. Prabhupada, you have already written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Because this commentary on Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada wrote, he primarily took the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan, and then he wrote his commentary based on Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary. Then Prabhupada said, "Oh, that I wrote my commentary was based on Baldev Vidyabhushan's commentary, but there are so many other commentaries. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jeev Goswami, and so many other acharyas have written their commentaries. So we can write our commentary based on their commentaries." So even among Vaishnava literature, Vaishnava circles, there could be different commentaries based on their own realizations they have written, but they don't change the basic underlying foundation message of Bhagavad Gita. Their own realizations could be different, just like we give the classes. So everybody's classes are based on his own realizations. But the basic fundamental principle does not get changed. Hopefully we don't change that. So that is the whole idea. So but even the classes could be different. Even the person who is speaking, it could be like that day his consciousness is little here or there. He could have different realizations. I could speak accordingly. And some other day, a few years later, his consciousness either is improved, then his realizations will be different. And same words, if he is speaking one, he'll speak differently. So that also can change. But at least if one is in the parampara, he will not change the message. So that is important. And okay, the why this chapter is called transcendental knowledge, because Krishna, in the previous chapter, Krishna spoke so much about buddhi yoga, buddhi yoga, buddhi yoga, knowledge, 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 gyan, gyan, gyan. So he had to give this knowledge to Arjun. So to go further, what is this gyan we are talking about? So yeah, I'll stop here because now Krishna will start speaking from text 5. So we'll discuss it tomorrow and next weekend at the order of Ashok Variku Prabhu. We will discuss chapter 15 because this is Purushottam month and that chapter is Purushottam Yoga. So it's about Krishna and how he is Purushottam in the Supreme Person. So we'll discuss that. And it has only 20 verses. So hopefully in 3 sittings, we should be able to cover 20 verses. So tomorrow and next Saturday, Sunday, we'll discuss those two, that chapter, chapter 15. So any questions or comments?
We still have 15 minutes left.
I know, but there are only 4 verses in the theme.
Okay.
So we can discuss something. Acha, yes, somebody, I think Vinay Prabhu wrote or somebody wrote about Ashwathama and Krishna. I think Vinay Prabhu only wrote. Well, why Krishna didn't want Arjun to kill Ashwathama? It could be the reason that Ashwathama was a Brahman and Krishna wanted to protect him from Brahmatya. Could be, but at the same time, Krishna didn't protect Dronacharya, who was a real Brahman, from getting killed by Drishtadyumna. So that part I don't know, but it was Krishna's inner desire that Ashwathama should not be killed. Or outwardly, he was telling Arjun to kill Ashwathama, and that was the devotion of Arjun, that he was completely in sync, in line with Krishna, that he understood the heart of Krishna, and he did not kill Ashwathama. And this is what Krishna here is also telling Arjun, that you are my devotee and you are my friend. That's why I'm giving this knowledge to you. So devotee means when he becomes pure, he doesn't become one with Krishna. Just like Mayavadis say, no, we all will merge in the light. We will not merge in the light. We'll become one with Krishna in the sense that we'll have the same desire. So our desires will be same. That's all. So that's the oneness that we will achieve. But Arjun did understand what Krishna wanted. So that's why he did not kill Ashwathama. Great mystery again. It's very hard to understand. And this same Ashwatthama, although he is a Chiranjeevi, he is still living. He had this jewel in his forehead, and to punish him, or Arjun understood later on how to kill him, so he took out that jewel from his forehead. And the place where he has taken it out, that place is always bleeding. And Ashwatthama is still alive. He is a Chiranjeevi. So it is said in Braj, many times he comes in the Braj and he asks the Brajvasis to put their chas at that place where it is bleeding from, and he gets some relief, and then he goes away. He says it's hurting a lot. And that Ashwatthama, whenever he leaves his body, that I don't know when he's going to leave, but next millennium, he will be one of the 7 sages. 7 great sages are there. So he will be one of the 7 sages. Or someplace it is said he will be next Ved Vyas. So I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be a great sage next millennium. So we don't know what Krishna wants. Why is he protecting somebody and why is getting others killed? We have no idea. But all these are great persons actually who are participating in the pastime of Krishna, helping him in his pastimes. They're great people, they're not ordinary people. Even Duryodhan, he is not an ordinary person. Duryodhan, he was always favored by Lord Balram. Lord Balram is actually guru of Duryodhan and Bhima also, because from Balramji they both learned the art of fighting with the clubs, Gada, Yudh. But Balramji always puts Duryodhan as, he said, this is my best student, better than Bhima. Although Bhima is a devotee, but he always puts Duryodhan, saying he's my better student. And it is said in Garg Samhita or some of the scripture it is mentioned, Duryodhan is actually a devotee of Balramji in the spiritual world. So he came here to perform this Leela or this act as Duryodhan, so that different teachings or different pastimes would come out properly. So Duryodhan has special relationship with Balramji. And Balramji is non-different from Krishna in one way. Like once some devotees went to Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you say Krishna and Balram, they are same, but we think they are different. Prabhupada said, okay, tell me. So one said, one said they are the same. Because Prabhupada, you said that they both are Supreme Personality of Godhead. The only difference is the color of the body. That's it. There's no other difference. But then Prabhupada said, yes, you're right. And then the other devotee said, no, Prabhupada, they are different because Balramji cannot be with the Srimati Radharani. Only Krishna enjoys with the Radharani. So they are different. So Prabhupada said, yes, that's also right. So then Tamal Kesh Maharaj actually asked Prabhupada, so which one is right? How can the both be same and different? Prabhupada said, okay, you decide. And he left the conversation there. He didn't give a clear-cut answer. Well, that is Balramji's position. He's not he's not God. He is God. He's non-different from Krishna. Some differences are there, but that's it. And that Balramji, he's supporting Duryodhan always. In fact, when Subhadra was going to get married, Balramji got the proposal from Duryodhan that he wanted to marry Subhadra. But then Arjun wanted to marry Subhadra. So Krishna had to help Arjun get married to Subhadra. And Balramji was really angry at that time. But anyway, the pastime had to go on. The Balramji really favors Duryodhan. Why? Duryodhan is their associate from the spiritual world. So all these people come here to participate in the Leelas of the Lord. So we should not try to find faults with anybody. We can try to find the faults with the points or something wrong they do, but not with the person. Not at all with the person. We don't know who he is. Anyway, any other question or comment?
I have a question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
We saw that Duryodhan was also a devotee of Lord Balram, which is again the Supreme Lord himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he came here to play a pastime, role in the pastime of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when we saw Duryodhan, like when his the way he has acted, so much of animosity that we developed because he was so bad. He did a lot of bad things. So we kept on judging that person, although he has just come here to play the role in the pastime of the Lord. When we see devotees also sometimes, some great devotees, they also sometimes try to act in ways which might be a pastime, isn't it? When we see some devotees engaged in abominable activities, so that could be a pastime of the Lord to teach us something. So is that the way we should see it, or we can judge like the way we usually judge characters like Duryodhan, Hiranyakashipu now?
See, in case of people like us who are struggling even to start with the devotional service, I don't think we are at the level of being in the Krishna's pastimes. But at the same time, you're right, we should not be judging others. Like Jesus Christ said, no, judge others not lest you want to be judged, something like that.
Right.
And who are we to judge? We cannot even see clearly, understand properly. How can we judge others? And moreover, if we are somebody's authority, or if we have that kind of relationship with that person, and if we see somebody is not following properly, then we can correct him, but without even having any malicious intent in our heart. The idea should be to correct him so he or she can come back on the path of bhakti. But that depends if our position is of authority, if that person's authority, or if we have that relationship with him. Other than that, we should just pray to Krishna, and we should not try to judge others, because it will be bad for us. If we try to judge others, we will be judged very soon, and then it will be very painful.
You said we are not big enough to be there in the pastimes of the Lord, but then we are all playing some kind of role in the pastimes of the Lord's great devotees. Like we have come in the come to the moment of Srila Prabhupada, who is a great Shakti Avesh avatar.
Mm-hmm.
We are all playing some role in Prabhupada's movement, even though like I could call myself a neophyte devotee, but then I'm still playing some role, which could be sometimes. And I'm not taking my example. I'm just telling there could be some devotee who had preached so very well and who has done so much service to Prabhupada, and when he or she falls down, we are very quick to judge and then say that, oh, he fell down, and then we keep spreading these things. So how detrimental it is for our own spiritual progress.
Very, very detrimental. Very detrimental. Because first of all, we don't know his position, the person who supposedly fell down, or we don't know. And if we try to criticize, try to judge him, then we are putting an obstacle in our own progress. Big time obstacle. And suppose there could be either he fell down or either he didn't, and some allegations were there, whatever. So even if he fell down, so at least he must be running or walking that he fell down. We are not even walking, we are just crawling. How can we fall down? So how can we judge him who was at least walking or running? Then that only he can fall down. No? Otherwise there was no fall down. So, and moreover, looking at philosophically, we all have anarthas, we all have desires in our heart. We all have. Who doesn't have? And if we try to judge others, so he has more desires than I do, then our desires will come out very soon. Those, the desires we are trying to suppress, they will come out very, very soon. Krishna says, Api che sudurachara, you should think of him as a Mahatma, even if he is sudurachari. And we try to put allegations, we try to judge him, or according to our realizations, then we are not even thinking of him as a Mahatma. We are thinking of him as a Durachari. Then what will happen to us? It's obvious. We have to have this compassionate heart towards everybody. At the same time, we have to be careful. We can try to avoid the association of a person who we think is not following. That's a different story. But we can try to give him our association. We can be compassionate. And then if we are compassionate, we will be regarded very highly by Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. We'll be that way. So that compassion is a thing that makes us dear to Krishna and Prabhupada. Not judging. And who are we to judge anybody? Like Jesus Christ only said, no, when they brought some woman who the people said she has committed some adultery or sin, Jesus Christ said, okay, you all want to throw rocks at her, but the person who should throw rock at her should be the one who hasn't committed any sin. So that should be our guiding line. If we have or we are committing sins, then who are we to tell somebody that you are sinful and I'm not? And compassion wise, like this I heard from Shivani Didi's lecture, and I like that line. She said, if somebody is physically handicapped, physically challenged, then we have so much of compassion for that person. No? We try to either help him get up or give him something if he needs something. If he cannot get up, cannot walk, we'll try to show some compassion to him. Of course, that compassion is more like a pity, but at least we try to serve him. So if somebody is physically challenged, we try to serve him so much. But what if somebody is spiritually challenged? How much we should try to help him? Spiritually challenged, it could be from the beginning he is handicapped, or he was healthy but he had an accident and he became handicapped. Either way. So he is spiritually challenged. How much we should try to help him? But on the other hand, we try to put labels, judge him and kick him out. How is that going to please Srila Prabhupada? I don't know. So, and that commits an offense. That we commit an offense also. So that is even more dangerous. Even if that person is fallen down, even if so Krishna hasn't left him, as Paramatma is still sitting in the heart of that person. Prabhupada hasn't left him, so who are we to leave that person? Or judge him, or shun him out, or kick him out, or ostracize him, or whatever. Have we become better or greater than Prabhupada and Krishna? But this is our immaturity, actually. Nothing else.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Somebody has sent a message, or what is it? Yes, Suresh Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, Suresh Prabhu, you have a question or just a comment? Yes. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
I think his mic is muted.
Can you hear? Oh, no, Prabhu, it's just a comment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mosmi Mata. Yes.
Actually, my internet is little poor, so sometime I missed your voice. So actually, I have a small question.
Yes, Mata, please ask.
Yeah, in the text 4, it says Krishna is Satchit Ananda and Vigraha. So what we understand from Vigraha, I could not understand the meaning of Vigraha actually.
Vigraha means form. He is the eternal form of bliss and knowledge.
So like if we try to understand the meaning of words, so what do we understand like about
Body, you can say body. His body is made of Sat, Chit and Ananda.
Yes, so can you please explain about this Satchit Ananda and Vigraha little elaborate?
Well, Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, and Anand means Ananda, bliss. So that's a proper writer, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge. So the form that Krishna has is eternal, full of knowledge, full of bliss.
And then Vigraha is?
Form or the body or the personality.
Oh, okay. Okay, and also what do you understand by this samsara? I mean, if you can tell me about the meaning of samsara.
Sansara means the cycle of birth and death.
Yeah, that I do see everywhere. So like,
Mhm.
you can explain a little bit about more than that.
Well, Sansara, well, the literal meaning is cycle of birth and death, but where we have all this, where actually it is Asat, Achit, and Nirananda. Actually, it is temporary, it is not eternal, and there is no knowledge, no like spiritual knowledge, that is also called Sansara. And it is Niranand, whatever Anand we have in this material world is basically gratification of senses. There is no real pleasure, real bliss. One who's in spiritual bliss, actually, while living in the material world, they are all spiritual persons. They're living in the spiritual world, although our bodies are here. Just like there was a quotation, no? Somebody sent a few days ago in our group, Prabhupada saying, even if I'm in New York, I'm in Vaikuntha. If I'm in Los Angeles, I'm in Vaikuntha.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Prabhuji, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Anta.
Prabhuji, Vinay here. I'm sorry we are extending already the time,
That's
but I
okay.
had a question which was just just popping up for last 10 minutes. And this question which I'm going to ask is a bit of contradictory only because I'm also a disciple of Jagadguru Shankaracharya Swami Sarupanand Saraswati. In fact, the entire family has taken Guru Diksha from him, and we just follow
Okay.
his Sanatan Dharma instructions, what he gives. There was,
Okay.
I think all of us have heard on the news channels, he has given one statement which was, people say that it's contradictory that on Sai Baba. So the question is, we go to the temple and we see some of the temples where you have all the deities there, you will also find Sai Baba's idol also there, which people do worship. But as per his instructions, he says that he was not an avatar. Okay, and he should not be worshipped in the temple, because Sri Ram's avatar and Sri Krishna's avatar, they were not simply the humans who have taken birth on earth, on this, on our sansar. They are actually the deities, they are God's form. But Sai Baba was not. So, what is your comment on this? I know it's a contradictory one. It's up to you whether you want to comment on this or not.
Well, philosophically speaking, he is right. Sai Baba is a human being and
Hmm.
he should not be worshipped along with Ram or Lakshmana, Krishna or other deities. But at the same time, Sai Baba, we have to understand, he was a great saint. And he was helping people whichever way, materially, or he was curing people and he was helping them. So that way, he was a great saint and he helped a lot of people. So, and every soul in this material world is a unique soul. He has his own set of sanskaras, own experiences throughout the so many lifetimes. He has been through so many other places, so many species of life he has been gone through. So every soul has a different level of spiritual advancement, understanding, whatever we want to call. So those who feel inspired by Sai Baba, that if I follow Sai Baba's teachings, and at least I do good things, this, I mean, I don't see it's wrong. It's not the best thing to do, but it's not wrong. Krishna is giving message of Bhagavad Gita, right? True, but how many people can follow the message of Bhagavad Gita and become devotees? Krishna himself says, out of millions and millions, hardly one knows me in truth. But the others will have their own journey, will have their own pace, will have their own status, stage from where they can work upon. So it's okay. If they're trying to follow Sai Baba, let them be so. And if they follow Sai Baba must have given good teachings only. He cannot give bad teachings. He was a saint. So let them follow, let them gradually make progress there. Why not? So that's why I say philosophically he wasn't wrong, Shankaracharya. But many times sentiments take over. like Krishna also cannot be worshipped in the same level as Ganesha and Durga ji. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But people do worship him as a devta also, not as supreme God, but as a devta. Which is their understanding, which is their level, which is fine. If Krishna doesn't mind, who are we?
Absolutely.
Of course, our perspective is they should all come to the unalloyed, uninterrupted devotional service of Krishna. But even we are not at that level of unalloyed, uninterrupted devotional service of Krishna. How can we expect everybody else to be? So the idea is let them make progress from wherever they are. It's okay.
It's actually, Prabhuji, it's on me. So when I visit the temple, I am in a confusion of because I'll be following the Sanatana dharmas and whatever the instructions our Guruji is giving, and based upon that, whenever I look, I just go pranam, dandavat pranam. I'll do for all, and I can't. I mean, internally, I cannot just ignore one Sai Baba, and I feel it from inside. But then those instructions will come in picture. But I still do. To be very honest, I just touch the feet and just come back.
But
I don't know why, but it's just because of the.
Sanatan Dharma teachings doesn't tell us to disrespect anybody and why to disrespect such a great saint as Sai Baba. We should not be following him or worshipping him. That's because we are worshipping Krishna or other thing. But as a matter of respect, we should offer respect to him. Why not? Even for that matter, even if you see some Muslim saint or Christian saint, why not give him respects?
True.
According to their level of understanding, they are doing God's work. That's okay. So we should not be looking down upon anybody. That will be completely wrong. Prabhupada could do anything. He is in different level. But he always attacked the philosophy or the wordings of a person, not the person. He gave full respects to even to Dr. Mishra. He was sharing the yoga studio with. He in fact took care of Dr. Mishra in New York. If you read his Lilamrita, he gave full respects to everybody. So that's what we should learn from him. Of course, philosophically he spoke very harshly against those people. But as a person, he respected everybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks for giving another 10-15 minutes.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful weekend. See you all tomorrow. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much, Hare Krishna. It was excellent class. Thank you.